Cut the shit.
How many red carpets you guys want to walk in your $4,000 ridiculous heels? You will never be able to lace up my Chuck Taylor.
This is your fault. This is your fault.
I didn't get mad when you stole all my moves.
Your daddy's not here anymore.
How was your movie, by the way? I missed it.
Mine went straight to DVD, just like yours.
Careful you don't hurt your neck again.
What is going on, everyone? I hope everyone is having a very good Thursday. First of all, it is a football Thursday, finally. As I have, so if you see me glancing over to the left, I do have the Thursday night game up. Very excited that football is back. Sundays will never be the same. People won't be able to really bother me on Sundays. You want to do something on Sundays, I have to see, what game is playing when and everything like that. And then on top of that, so I do have the NFL Plus this year because I discovered the NFL Red Zone last year, which makes games like 20 times better, of course, because I normally just either watch Cowboys, of course, if there's a division game going on, or if there's a game that I really wanted to watch, of course, when it comes Buffalo Bills, Kansas City, of course, or even sometimes the Bengals from time to time. But I'm happy to be playing. I'm back in fantasy football. So if you guys haven't checked out, we did a fantasy football party. A lot of my fellow bloodline brothers and sister as well did a draft about it and everything. So in that draft, I have the Kansas City defense. So of course, with Detroit getting an easy touchdown, not exactly happy about that. And then I'm playing, I have two NFL fantasy teams. One bit of disaster, completely forgot the draft was going on. By the time I entered that draft, it was the last two picks. And I just picked like the kicker and the tight end, and that was it. And that was a bit, it's okay. Not really, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. But I do have I have the wide receiver from Detroit who got the touchdown tonight. He's on there. But I'm playing against someone who has oh my gosh, who we got? Lamar Jackson. He has a pretty good team that I'm going against there too. And then the third fantasy team I have drafts on Friday night. So, but I look forward to playing like DraftKings and FanDuel from time to time. But we'll see. But football is back. Fucking happy about it. Next couple of months is going to be amazing, especially with NFL Red Zone. But shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for coming in early. Kofi Weekston, we live, baby. Be sure to check out Dirty Heels. I always say they are the realest motherfucking podcast around. Kayla, what is going on? Thank you so much for tuning in. And then Melissa, thank you so much for tuning in. Tim, the banger. Yo, what's good, JD? Not a football or a sports guy. That's cool. That is completely cool. Just tune in for the reactions and everything like that. If you see me make a face, you know what's going on. And Nick from Universal Wrestling Podcast. If you didn't check out Universal Wrestling Podcast earlier today, be sure to check that out. We gotta mute that or turn it down. Just turn it down a little bit. The hub's got the game playing in the background. What's good, JD? Go Birds. Yes, that's going to be a very interesting year. If you don't know, I am from Philly. I am a Cowboys fan. I'm okay. I know a lot of Eagles fans. I know some Cowboys fans as well. The people in my family that do watch football are Cowboys fans. And then, of course, a lot of people are Eagles fans. But I'm a realist, so I'm not a Cowboys fan because I'm an Eagles hater. That's pretty much like a good portion of Cowboys fans in Philly. They're just Eagles haters. They just join it. It's just like Star Wars. They just want to join the dark side and stuff like that, and have that confidence to walk around. But me, I'm a realist. When Philly won the Super Bowl, I was happy for Philly. Where I used to work was on the parade route, so I had the day off. So thank you, Eagles, for the free day off. And I was fine with the Eagles winning the Super Bowl because the NFC East is the first NFL division where all teams won the Lombardi Trophy. So that's a bit of a flex. But I am upset with the Birds because y'all went so fucking far last year. Now all of NFC East has a fucking difficult schedule this year. Not saying that the Cowboys are going to have a losing record. I think Cowboys will be fine. It's just once they get into the playoffs, what the hell happens there? So, so glad to you, your grace. I might be distracted by an NFL opener, but I'm still here for this. That's completely fine. Hey, if you need to split screen me, okay, go ahead and do that. I completely understand. It's fucking Patrick Mahomes. I can't beat Patrick Mahomes. Like I said, put me side by side, just definitely listen 100%, put the game on mute. How about that? Just put the game on mute. Tim says, sure does. Dylan, what's good? Jaydee, thank you so much for tuning in. Dom said, Red Zone channel is amazing. It is amazing. It is amazing. I wasn't a fan of it because I was like, what's the point? Why just tune in the game for a couple of seconds and stuff like that? Oh, of course, didn't know what it really meant until I actually watched it. And it makes the day amazing, especially if it's like no games where you really want to tune in. Because usually before I found the Red Zone channel, I usually find the 1 o'clock game to definitely check out. I'll find the 4 o'clock game and then just tune in for the Sunday night football game. But of course, when there's weeks, oh my gosh, fumble. Of course, when there's weeks where oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I just got points. Of course, when there's a day where when there's like nothing really to watch at 1 o'clock, it's a lot easier to check out Red Zone. Ivan, what's going on? What's going on, fams? Happy Thursday. It's happy Thursday to you too. Shout out to the Faction Cast podcast. Yo, Jaydee, what is going on? And then Dan, Jaydee, as he's peeking from the weeds, of course. And then just in time, because he is just in time. What's up, First effing Lady? Thank you so much. Always great to watch you every Thursday. Thank you so much. Even though now I am just like Tony Khan this past weekend with Collision versus Peacock and college football, I am now going head to head against Thursday night football. And tonight it's Patrick Mahomes. Don't know who it will be next week. Of course, when Dallas plays, you'll see me kind of like talking to y'all while facing the TV at a certain point. But still, I'm happy to see all you guys every Thursday. And then Tim, of course, huge fumble by Detroit in the red zone. I didn't catch who fumbled the ball. I'm hoping it's not the wide receiver that I have. Had red zone for a couple of years. Definitely amazing. It is amazing. Like, so all you're watching is like, soon as they get into, especially a guy who does the narrating and does the play-by-play for red zone, amazing job. Like, he makes the games entertaining as well. The game is on mute here. You have both ears, your grace. That's fine. I forgot who does the play-by-play for Thursday night football. I forgot it does Thursday night football play-by-play, but it doesn't hit the same as, of course, back when it was the classic commentators on there. Of course, Tony Romo as a commentator was really good, and then he kind of fell off a bit from time to time, but football is back, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope everyone had a good weekend. We had a really big wrestling weekend, of course. Cage, what's going on, Dan? Cage my IQ. Scott Hansen read my fantasy league draft picks results this year. He's the red zone guy. Yes. I like him. He makes the game sound like even if the game isn't that boring, is like kind of boring, he still kind of makes it entertaining. And that's a lot of talking to like constantly go to different games and do all the play-by-play and everything like that. It's a lot of talking. And he kind of like for a good 4 hours, and then he gets like a bit of a break. Well, no, he don't even get a break because between the 1 o'clock and the 4 o'clock games, he still has to like talk from here and there. But he does an amazing job to like really just like continuously talk. Romo was calling playing before the even happening. Yes, that first year of Tony Romo being the play-by-play commentator, amazing. I was sitting there like I was tuned into games and I felt like I was in class because I was learning, okay, wow, this is amazing for me to know. Like, okay, I can tell this is about to happen. The running back is about to swing out to the right and stuff. Collinsworth has a punchable voice. I just can't. Yeah, Collinsworth. What made it worse is that they throw Collinsworth into all the NFL game, the Madden games too. So it's not just like you have to hear him once. If you decide to play Madden, that's all you hear is his voice. He got his niche. Yes, he does. He's really good at that. It's Al Michaels Al Michaels is on Thursday and Kurt Herbstreit now on Thursdays. Yeah. Al Michaels sometimes with Al Michaels, he's here and there. He's here and there with that as they go to commercial. But like I said, getting away from football for right now. It's a bit of a competitive game going on between the Kansas City Chiefs and Detroit. Definitely got to figure out. They have to figure out now how to structure. I have to see what games are going to be at the 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock. But I guess it don't really matter if I'm going to be checking out Red Zone anyway. Of course, Dallas plays Sunday night against the Giants. Don't know which team is going to show up, but yeah. Kurt made the move from college football. Okay. Let's see. Al Michaels was hilarious last year, hating on all the bad games. He was, Tim. Yeah, he had Al Michaels have his moments. It's a hit and miss with Al Michaels. It's a hit and miss with him. But yeah, he was a bit hilarious whenever he was calling a bad game. Like he had to try to keep it entertaining for people to tune in. So yeah, now I'm going to be back checking out the Pat McAfee show a little more. And then of course, like my Sunday mornings, of course, is with Game Day Morning. That's only reason why that's one of the reasons I got NFL Plus. So I could check out NFL Network without sailing the seas and check out Game Day Morning and then check out NFL Red Zone. So now that we got some football out of our system, switching over to some wrestling news. Of course, the biggest news coming out was CM Punk getting fired this past weekend. And of course, there's Team Punk and there's Team Not Punk. My thing is, and I was heavy on Tony Khan when it came to this. I don't know why I'm wearing these. I was heavy on Tony Khan when it came to decision making and just the way that the back office was run. And I felt as though that, listen, you can have there's always a star employee, right? They'll bring in money and stuff like that. But if they always bring in drama, it's time to let them go. And with CM Punk, even though, yes, oh my gosh, that was almost interception. With CM Punk, even though, like, yes, he's very popular and everything like that, he is he like brings people in, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. Love him or hate him, you tune in to check him out. And even though, yes, I know there are people going to say that, I've seen people say that they were out to get him and stuff like that. And I feel as though it's just the way that you react to things. I feel there's a common denominator with all the drama, and that was CM Punk. With, the rumors of him sending people home, with Jack Perry, with the Elites, with just a bunch of drama. And then, of course, there was a non-wrestler witness account who's actually cool with CM Punk, who said that he lunged at Tony Khan. And I understand, like, we all, everybody at work, we always deal with customers we don't like, customers that we don't like, co-workers that we don't like, bosses that we don't really like. But it's always how you respond to things, okay? Tony Khan isn't the end-all be-all boss, okay? Just like with Vince or Triple H, while Vince was such a powerful person, yes, Vince still has to answer to people. He still has to answer to the network and the board of directors, the shareholders. With Tony Khan, he has dad. If you really had that big of a problem, you could have went, hey, hell, you could have went to the networks. You could have went to your dad. You could have said, you know what, Tony, I need to sit down with you because this shit is going on and I'm just getting tired of it. But the fact that if you are going with the theory that the Elite was out to get him, so that's why all this stuff was happening. If that was the case, then you talk to Tony Khan, be like, yo, these are EVPs. Or even Tony's dad say, yo, these are EVPs. Why is all this stuff happening? Dan says, CM Punk fired. No way. Yes way, Dan. He got fired. What's going on, broadcast? All the way from down under, from the future. What's up, Jaydee? Thank you so much for tuning in. No worries, CM Punk will be a new Impact World Champion in a few months. People keep now, because he is out of AEW. Now people are like, oh, he's going to go to WWE. And I'm like, do y'all know who's over there? Like, I know Vince is gone, but the person who is in charge of creative is the person that fired him on his wedding day. Like, I will be more shocked of CM Punk coming back to WWE than CodyRhodes and Triple H sitting down and talking about how much they love each other for 2 hours. Apparently, he wanted to meet with the Elite, and Kenny Omega offered to meet with him on the Elite's behalf, but CM Punk declined to do that. Okay, so I did hear that there was supposed to be a sit down, and I heard that the Elite had declined. And then, of course, there was the rumor, Cage, I'm about to be in the weeds, that when he went to London, there wasn't anybody to pick him up. Like, he was kind of like stranded or something like that. I'm like, I get there's pettiness, but it's just all about how you respond to it. You don't sit there and choke people out or allegedly punch them. And you definitely don't lunge at Tony Khan, who, he's been with all this stuff for so long, and he has never felt feared for his life. I want a clip. I feel like I'm going to use that as a clip one day. That never have I ever feared for my life. Temple Plays, what's going on? Thank you so much for tuning in. CM Punk at KO at Mania 40. I know there's a lot of people who are all of a sudden doing all these dream bookings and stuff like that. And it's like, while CM Punk, he is popular and stuff like that, drama follows him. Drama follows him. And you have to worry about, he can make you a lot of money, but are you willing to deal with the drama that's going to follow this guy between you and co-workers? Because it was kind of the same thing at WWE. Thing was, we didn't know any better, so we all sided with CM Punk, It was the cool thing, just like Stone Cold. It was the cool thing to kind of be like against the boss. But now that he's in a years later, different company, and it's the same type of drama once again, it's just like, what is it? The whole London thing was a thing for all wrestlers, and Punk was the only talent to have an issue finding the ride. So, yes, because I was like confused because I was like, excuse me, this isn't the 1990s anymore. There is Uber, there is Lyft. I'm not sure exactly how the hotel and ride situation runs in AEW. I know in WWE it's pretty much like you better find your ass here on your own dime. That's why they all travel together. So it's like normally you would call for your own stuff. I mean, it's 2023. You don't have to worry about hailing a taxi anymore. You got Uber, you got Lyft, you got Google Maps. If you could walk to the hotel, you could walk to the hotel. Yeah, love CM Punk, but he definitely went crazy and fear for my life. Yes, I didn't see. So of course I didn't see when Tony Khan has said. Well, I watched the video on the X of Tony Khan saying, "Never have he ever feared for his life," and he lunged at him. I completely even if Punk went like that, I completely believe that Tony Khan feared for his life off of that. He is drama, no doubt. He is, and it's just like common denominator, ladies and gentlemen. Common denominator. If someone is always in drama and is somehow the victim of the drama, apparently it's like, no, I think it's you because you are the common denominator. It's either your mindset or it's your actions. Which one is it? And I feel like in CM Punk's head, he is the victim because, he feels as though that he doesn't do anything wrong. I was just very confused once I heard the rumors of him being in charge where he's sending people home and stuff like that. And I'm like, why is he getting power? Like, this guy just got into a fight with the EVPs and suddenly he has power to tell people if they can come to the show, if they need to go home and stuff like that. I felt as though it was a bit backwards. But now there is a count. Now I'm sure everybody's counting down to where he's going to end up, whether that's Impact, New Japan, WWE. I was about to say Ring of Honor, but nope. That's owned by Tony Khan. NXT, somewhere at a local gym or something like that, bagging groceries. Aaron Rodgers, stunt double. Don't know where he's going to end up, but hopefully, I don't think he's going to learn a lesson. I'm sure he's going to show up at somebody's podcast to talk about it and give his side of the story. And it is what it is. But like I said, if you had an issue with the EVPs, there's a way to handle it. Just like with a lot of businesses, normally the vice presidents and everything like that do not go. It's normally the employee that ends up getting let go or fired or treated to shit to where as though they end up quitting. That's how it is. That is lesson 101 of dealing with corporate America here on Wrestlebread Podcast. Also, congrats to Gunther. Today, he broke the record and he is now the longest reigning IC champion at 454 days. Now, I didn't get to check out the match between him and Chad Gable. I heard it was amazing, so I definitely plan on checking that out. But I'm very happy for Gunther. I'm a big fan of Gunther back when he was Walter. I am still waiting for WWE to drop the video match of him versus Cesaro, but I'm a big fan of Gunther and I'm very happy for him. Triple H is out here just ready to destroy title reigns of yesteryear. So he is now the longest reigning IC champion. And as far as who he would give the title up to, I know people are saying people like Drew or something like that. I just want it to be to somebody else, I wouldn't mind Chad Gable. Chad Gable is amazing. First of all, it's still a tragedy that America Alpha on the main roster, really couldn't be. But still, I'm happy that people are recognizing that Chad Gable is a very good wrestler and he could put on very good matches. But I wouldn't mind Chad Gable. I wouldn't mind somebody who really didn't have a big chance in the spotlight. LA Knight, truthfully, I know people might say LA Knight No, LA Knight's on SmackDown. I know people may gravitate to different people, but there are people who do not need a title in order to be popular. Dan said, Germany never has been more proud since Alex Wright danced his way into Nitro. Bloodline, man, much love. DC Area 1. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you. It was a fun match for sure. We got one more match coming soon, I think, for sure. I wouldn't mind if, Chad versus Gunther turn into a feud. I like wrestling matches. Bless bro watching Lions. Yes, I have the Chiefs Lions game going on to the side here. If you haven't heard me say already, I do have Kansas City Chiefs as my defense in one fantasy league. And then I have a wide receiver from Detroit on the other league. It was auto pick because I was late to that draft. So I completely forgot the name. I just know that he already scored a touchdown. Ooh, that was a nest. Ooh, my gosh. I am so jealous. Patrick Mahomes is so fucking good. Oh my gosh. Should have been Sheamus for sure. I loved the feud between Sheamus and Gunther. My feed froze up. I love the feud between Sheamus and Gunther when they were sitting there facing off in the middle of the ring and they were just staring each other down while Imperium and the Brawling Brutes were sitting there fighting each other and in the background. Chef's kiss. That Chad Gable, Jason Jordan reunion on WWE Twitter was awesome. I didn't see that. I gotta check that out. I'm gonna check it out. Did I see it? If it was a long time ago, I probably did see it, but I'll definitely look it up. Damn, what a catch. Yes, that was an amazing ass catch. I definitely thought that was a drop ball. Oh my gosh, the fucking easiest touchdown ever. Crazy. My goat, yes. Gable reminds me of Kurt Angle style. Yes. Kurt Angle, Chad Gable. The fact that I wish they had made Chad Gable Kurt Angle's son instead of Jason Jordan, because it's like, hello, Chad Gable, Kurt Angle is pretty much like damn near the same person. Typical Play says, what if CM Punk does come back to WWE? And hear me out on this one. Retribution for CM Punk. Have him pair up with a fellow Chicago hometown boy, and then Mustafa Ali and Dominic Dijak as the muscle. I love Dijak. I always said, if they ever did like a Call of Duty or something like that, they definitely need to use him. He has such an amazing look with, the justice and stuff like that. I'm like, he needs to be on the cover of a Call of Duty or something. He's amazing. And of course, I loved his feuds between him and Keith Lee. So good. So good. The only thing is, I wouldn't mind CM Punk teaming up with people, I guess, having a faction. As long as the thing with WWE that they sometimes do with legends or people, I'm not sure how Triple H would do it. So far, Triple H kind of been doing it well. But the thing is, I don't want CM Punk to overshadow Mustafa Ali, and especially Dijak if he is coming up to the main roster. If that's his first time coming up to the main roster, I'm hoping that I have slight faith that CM Punk will be there to help elevate those two. But it's just, I don't know. Like I don't know how that is going to look like with Triple H in charge with CM Punk. Like, can they just kind of get over what happened? Especially with CM Punk getting fired on his wedding day. And he mainly blames Triple H more for everything than Vince McMahon. But I wouldn't mind seeing Dijak, of course, as the muscle. As long as we get, Dijak. The black and gold Dijak on the main roster. I'm very interested. Yeah. They would have to add one more person, because right now WWE loves to do, well, they do trios, but they have been doing stables. I think with CM Punk, you could add one more person. Who would it be? They could add someone to make it a faction. You don't necessarily need a female unless you are using that feud to go against Judgment Day directly. We'll see. Yes, Mahomes. That was an easy ass touchdown by Mahomes. It was Monday. Okay, I didn't check it out, so I'm gonna check that out then. Let's do Retribution angle better with CM Punk as leader. Yeah, because I had hopes for Retribution when they were showing them destroying. I was like, okay, this is it felt like, anti WWE Nexus type of thing. But then, of course, it went to hell very quickly, especially the fact that they fucking put Dijak in a mask. I was very upset. But yeah, kind of like Voice of the Voiceless, basically. Not exactly like straight edge. I'm hoping that they won't do it like the straight edge society. That they'll definitely do something better with a better version of straight edge society and Retribution as well. But that's not a bad idea, Temple. I'll send you the clip on Slack. All right, cool. So let's get into start off with Payback. I didn't really watch Collision last week. So, yeah. I didn't really check out Collision. But we're going to get into Payback first. Of course, because that was on Saturday. Which took place on since that Retribution had so much potential. It really did. I was just so upset that Retribution went that way. And then I was like, okay, we got Mustafa as the leader. And I had hope at that point that he was the person behind Retribution. And then, of course, it was good. And then it fell flat very quickly, which was a shame because I felt as though, okay. Because then he explained why they were wearing masks. And I was like, okay, that kind of makes a bit more sense. But then, of course, it just kind of went to hell pretty quickly. So starting off with the first match, we had Becky Lynch going against Trish. Thank you, Trish, respectfully. That was a pretty good match. First of all, I'm very happy for Trish that while she was, of course, the face of the women's division in the Attitude Era, that she is able to just come back 2023 and is able to experience matches that really she wouldn't have been able to be in back in those days. I mean, a steel cage match, Money in the Bank and everything like that. I'm very happy for her. This was a pretty good match between these two. Definitely, of course, is the end of the feud between these two. A lot of hard hitting. The Trish had did a video vignette, I believe, where she showed that she had some markings there from the cage. A lot of hard hitting. Shout out to Trish though. Trish out here is still just doing her thing. Then we had Zoe Starks who came in and interfered in the match, and then Becky had closed the cage and said, I'm about to whoop your ass. In the end, though, Becky won with with the rock bottom. I know she calls it the manhandle slam, but I'm like, that's the rock bottom, sweetie. I still remember when the Rock, the Rock still does the rock bottom. He still kind of comes and shouts out to WWE from time to time. Well, I mean, he hasn't been in WWE in a while, but still, he's still around there. So I'm still going to call it the rock bottom. She did the rock bottom from the top rope, and fucking shout out to Becky, not Becky, for Trish for taking that bump. And I believe they did a suplex too. That Trish was kind of on the top of the cage, and there was a suplex that was done from pretty much up there. These two women definitely tore it down. And then we had the breakup between Zoe and Trish. From what we saw on Raw, it looks like Zoe is now going her own way, which I like Zoe Starks. Promo skills are a bit iffy. They definitely, like I always say with the main roster with WWE, it's all about character. So I'm hoping that they kind of figure out exactly who she is, because when she was with Trish, she was just kind of there. So I'm hoping she got some pointers from Trish and whatnot, that she kind of knows what she wants. Ooh, yes, Shotzi. That was a good one. Yeah, Shotzi. And I'm sitting here and was trying to think of what female could have been added to that. Shotzi would be a perfect choice. Definitely. Straight edge society. So yeah, that's a good one. I didn't think of Shotzi. And then we had Becky who won. And Becky now goes on to challenge Tiffany Stratton for the NXT belt, which I'm like, okay. And then we have Trish, I forgot what the vignette of what Trish said, but Zoe is now, I believe she's about to be feuding against Shayna Baszler, which I'm not mad at all. Then after that, we had Rey Mysterio going against Austin Theory. Rey Mysterio is great. I know a lot of people are like waiting for the LWO to turn on him or for Santos to turn on LWO. But I'm just enjoying everything as is. I wish that there was a lot more going with LWO, like we had with the Bloodline and the Judgment Day. It feels like it's a bit of a toss-up. I mean, LWO is pretty much like Santos. Rey is there as a coach, pretty much. And then Zelina Vega is kind of there to, get a title shot or get her moment time to shine, and then like kind of get her ass beat. Oh, we have time. And kind of get her ass beat. And then, nobody knows the names of the two other guys of LWO. I think it's Joaquin Wild, and I forgot the other one. Raul Mendoza. But nobody like kind of knows of the other two because it's all about Santos, Rey, and Zelina. And I wish that, LWO kind of get a little bit more attention like you would have gotten with Judgment Day. But of course, Rey was gonna retain. It really was pointless for Austin Theory to win the title back, because Austin Theory as the United States champion, he really got no love at all. Tim said, do you think the LWO is better off as heels? I don't know. I think they'll definitely play off better as heels, but we already have a heel faction. And then the Bloodline was also a heel faction as well. And we don't really have a lot of factions that are face, so I think LWO would be, should definitely be a face and kind of feud with Judgment Day or at a certain point. But I feel as though, Legado del Fantasma was very good as heels. And of course, Santos, of course they turned face, especially once they were going against Tony D'Angelo and the family, I think they were called. So of course then they turned babyface. And then of course they were like, that feud was pretty good too. Turn on Rey and add muscle for Santos. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. It's just the thing that so far the feuds that they have had, that WWE has had, are all heels. So I was hoping that, I was hoping that, Triple H is able to book a faction as baby faces. Feel like it would be a bit of a toss up. I was hoping that they would kind of use Rey to kind of like boost the LWO, but it feels like they're his like cheerleaders at a certain point. And it's kind of like Rey and this kind of like second win that he is getting since he defeated Dominic at WrestleMania. But we have Rey, who retained, of course. Like I said, no point of giving Austin Theory the title. He just had the title, and he really wasn't booked strong at all as Universal Champion. And then after that, I just put down, we had the Pittsburgh street fight match. It was KO and Sammy. Shit, I forgot. KO and Sammy. There's a lot of wrestling going on, so I completely forgot what it was. Okay, yeah. Duh. KO and Sammy going against the Judgment Day, which was first of all, shout out to them for actually Steel City Street Fight. It was. First of all, shout out to them for showing everyone, okay, this is how you do a hardcore match in Terry Funk's honor. Because what they did the day that they were celebrating him was just like, just watch Shayna's entire NXT career, still not impressed. If y'all haven't checked out Universal Wrestling Podcast, be sure to check it out. Nick and Keith were talking about Shayna Baszler, and Nick hasn't seen Shayna Baszler's NXT run, and Nick wanted to know why Keith was such a fan of Shayna Baszler. And I was in the comments and told Nick, go check out Shayna Baszler's NXT run, which he just said he just watched her entire career. But yeah, I'm happy that we're getting a reemergence of Shayna Baszler because she is awesome. Great show. Thank you so much. Ray has the U.S. title to put over Santos at Mania. That's what I'm hoping for. That would be cool. Temple, are you looking? So I take it that you are looking for Santos to turn on Ray and LWO, or you think that LWO will turn heel and kick Ray out? But yeah, Ray versus Santos for the title, that'll be amazing. That'll be a really nice feud. Santos Escobar is amazing in the ring. So yeah, I can't wait for that. I wouldn't mind having that happen. But yeah, shout out to these four for putting on a crazy ass street fight. Of course, KO just doing the craziest shit that he can. Fucking jumping off and then pretty much landing ass first onto concrete, completely missing the table. I don't know how he was able to walk after that. But this match was one of the longer matches between these two teams. And I know KO was sore as all hell after that match, but it was a very good pretty much a hardcore match. But in the end, we had the Judgment Day who won, and I originally had picked for KO and Sami Zayn to retain, but then when I was talking, I was like putting over the Judgment Day and everything like that, but I still had I had the thought of picking Judgment Day to win, but I was like, nah, KO and Sami will retain. But no, the Judgment Day wins, and now everyone has gold, including Mr. Senor Money in the Bank, who has a new briefcase thanks to Jaydee, and Jaydee also helped them out as far as retaining as far as winning the titles as well. We had John Cena as the host of Payback, and of course, John Cena is entertaining as all hell. He mentioned that he will be the special guest referee for LA Knight versus The Miz, which The Miz was not the biggest fan of. LA Knight, who is over as fuck, yeah. It was a match between LA Knight and The Miz where John Cena, bless him. Of course, LA Knight wins. The Miz is now beefing with John Cena. Fought John Cena on Raw. Of course, we couldn't see him, which, of course, John Cena, we can't see you. We didn't see him on Raw, but hell of a segment with John Cena and The Miz, of course. And then, of course, we had John Cena, who became a backstage correspondent, who's just like able to do, I feel like John Cena could just do whatever the hell he wants at this point. Because not only was he the backstage correspondent, but he did the thing where he like got lower so that the wrestlers are taller than him. I forgot who it was that did it backstage, but the person who used to do it backstage, he would stand in a wide stance so that he is shorter than the wrestlers. I feel like I should know the name, but the name like escapes me. I'm in like football mind right now. Okay, the Eagles play at 4:00. So I forgot his name, but he would stand in a wide stance so that he is shorter than the wrestlers. And that's what John Cena said. Just what John Cena did. And that I crack the fuck up at that. The streets are saying that LA Knight is about to sign a huge 5-year deal. They'll make him a top face. Yes, perfect time for him to get over. So he better thank all the fans for putting his ass over, because he's about to make buku money. He's about to be walking around here like Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, just like in the money. Yeah, because LA Knight is definitely the person that doesn't need the title to be put over. I'm hoping that, well, I highly doubt it, but I hope that they don't like rush him into the title picture too quickly. I wouldn't mind another match between him and The Miz. Give him a really entertaining feud just to go, promo for promo. I feel as though LA Knight and The Miz was definitely a good feud to go promo for promo. But I feel like it's going to be another feud between those two, because he could definitely say that John Cena cheated and stuff like that, because, John Cena, not really the biggest fan of The Miz, said he is a fan of LA Knight. So yeah, you can definitely do a lot more with that. But yeah, that was a good match between those two. And then, of course, we had respectfully Monday Night Mommy, Rhea Ripley, going against Raquel. She got back Rodriguez. First of all, Rhea is amazing. Respectfully, this was a good match between these two. It's just that Rhea has been pretty much like doing more Judgment Day stuff than she has like really getting into feuds for her title. Now I'm hoping, I don't know, like there's a big difference between her title defenses and title defenses of Bianca Belair, for example. I know the big difference is because Bianca's the baby face and Rhea is a heel. I'll say it this way, or maybe the feuds between non-bloodline stuff with Roman versus Rhea Ripley. I know that's a bit of a stretch, but the point I'm trying to make is that pretty much these title defenses with Rhea Ripley was pretty much more of checking off the box for her to be on a pay-per-view, or to have her something to do, than for her to have something meaningful to do outside of pretty much like getting the Judgment Day in line. She, on the side of, staying to the side of Dominic and everything like that. But it just feels like her title feuds has pretty much been like, all right, we have a pay-per-view coming up. Let's get Rhea Ripley on there. Natalya. Or like Zelina Vega. Even though that was an amazing moment for Zelina Vega. It was just the fact, like, it wasn't like a hardcore feud that's been going on for a while. Temple says Santos kicks Ray out of the LWO. Angel Garza and Humberto will take his spots, but a great touch. And yes, Ray to put over Santos at Mania for the US title. Yes. I like Angel Garza and Humberto. I did see the vignette that they definitely are bringing more of the family heritage into it with them. Because they definitely really didn't, not that I remember, that they really emphasized the fact that they're cousins and that they have a family heritage, bloodline type of situation. So I did like the vignette that they did with Angel Garza and Humberto. But yeah, I'm happy that they kind of get a bit of a reemergence, because Angel Garza was very talented. Is very talented. And I felt as though he got knocked down a few notches with NXT 2.0. Because then NXT Black and Gold, yeah, he had, of course, the pants flying off, stuff like that. It felt like a younger, suave version of Eddie Guerrero. That would be awesome. Yeah, I cannot wait to see a Rey Mysterio going against Santos. And I'm hoping that they really make it into a feud. Like, definitely a couple of matches or something like that. Like, even whoever wins at Mania, like, have another match, Backlash, I mean, I don't have to go to a cage match, but I wouldn't mind for it to go to a cage match, of course. But yeah, but getting back to Rhea, it just seems like they just have more for Rhea, just throwing people for Rhea to just defeat versus her having an actual feud. I did like what they were kind of doing between her and Raquel, but it was just Rhea has so much doing with the bloodline. It felt like her title defense was kind of like second. It was like non-important, of course. And then we had Mr. Adversity, Cody, who was on the Grayson Waller effect, and he was there to make a special announcement. First of all, I am a big fan of Grayson Waller. I am so happy that they given him a bit of a better introduction to the casual crowd than, we've seen with plenty of other people that, gets introduced from NXT to the casual crowd. What's going on, Grady? It's okay if you are late. It is all right. You are here, and I am happy that you're here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Temple says, thanks, Tim. Could even have Dragon Lee on Ray's side as the baby faces. That would be great. And then on top of that, tag team match between Dragon Lee and Ray going against Angel Garza and Humberto. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Love the new look. Thank you so much. This is temporary. There is going to be a new look next week. If you guys didn't see from the beginning of the show, we are not only just me, but the network. We're going through a new look, but it's going to be same amazing content. Okay, a lot of Mr. Adversity and my haterade for CodyRhodes and my love for Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill. So, it's going to be a lot coming, but be sure to check out the rebranding party this Saturday at 8:30 p.m. So be sure to check that out for what the name is going to be, the new look of it all and everything. And then tune in next week for the new look of the Wrestlebread podcast as well. Yes, Adversity. Temple, you're on fire. I'm like keeping an eye at this game. It was all the adversity I've been facing tonight in order to get here. And yes, I knew as soon as I mentioned Jade Cargill, I knew Faction Cast was going to say it. Yes, I miss Jade Cargill too. She did mention that she loves working with Tony Khan. She's not going anywhere. And I'm like, when are you coming back? You could have came back at All In. You could have came back in front of 80,000 people. We would have shouted for you and loved you. And, it would have been amazing. And we can't wait for you to come back. I wish there was I'm hoping she gets some a Chris Jericho countdown or something like that. Just so we know, the countdown, set your calendars and the clocks, just clear all your schedules and everything like that for when she comes back. The street said Jade is coming back to AEW. Yeah, I know she's coming back. But when is she coming back? So my dream is to be a booker for a wrestling company one day. Well, good luck to you, Temple. Good luck to you. I mean, I know booking is very hard, but if you love what you do, I'm sure it'll be pretty easy. Pretty easy to come by. But yeah, we had Mr. CodyRhodes who came on the Grayson Waller effect. Now, see, like I always say, I am the president of the CodyRhodes Haters Club. Nothing against the person himself. It's just the over baby facing that we were doing. Hopefully she's a Collision cowgirl. Yo, I really hope she is on Collision. That would be amazing. Especially how they do the intros with the promos and stuff like that. Can definitely see her popping on there before the show with a quick promo. I definitely see that happening. So here's what I get, because I know I got some CodyRhodes fan in here, and here's what I don't get about your boy, okay? His whole thing since he has come back was finish the story. I have my story. Got to finish the story. I'm in this chapter, but I have to finish my story that my dad has started. His biggest thing was to win the championship that his father never won. That was the whole story. tears and crying and everything like that. Since he came back, how he wants to do this for his daughter and for his wife and America and whoa and adrenaline in my soul and wrestling got more than one wrestling family and all this and that. But then he talks about how he used politics, used his position to bring someone over to Monday Night Raw, and it was Jey Uso, the same person who countless times cost you your shot or jumped you from behind. But Jey Uso was definitely one of the people that cost you the title at WrestleMania, and you decide to do this guy a favor. He's definitely Homelander for real. Definitely Homelander for real. Jade Cargill and Mercedes Moné as they do on AEW alongside Athena would be dope. It would be. Them three as a trio. AEW is not ready for that. AEW is not ready for that, Temple. Cody's a politician. He really is. When I started doing my live streams, I called Cody the president because that's how he acts. He acts like he does act like a politician. He's pretty much like, oh, I'm gonna scratch your back, but have my back. According to what Adam Pearce had dropped, that it was actually a trade. So I'm guessing we're going to see CodyRhodes on SmackDown because he got himself traded over there so he can finish the story. I mean, I feel like it's a bit, I don't know, unless they're going to pull the AEW thing and he has to face each and every person that's still there. Well, not really with the bloodline, but pretty much every person on the roster on SmackDown. I feel like it's a bit early for him to cross over to SmackDown if he's going after Roman in the title. Like we still got a couple of months left before Mania 40. But yeah, Cody is definitely a politician. Homelander for sure. Honestly, I just want to fast forward through this story. Yes, where is the remote? Just press the button to go to the next chapter. Like I said, my issue with CodyRhodes is that it's the over baby facing. I felt the same way when he was in AEW. I'm keeping the same energy now as the WWE. It's just over baby facing. And I agree with you. I want to fast forward the story because I cannot wait for him to win the title just to see how he's going to be booked, because it's so easy to do the underdog story, as you're going after the title. But once you get the title, you are no longer the underdog. Just like it was told, I believe, I forgot who said it. Who said it to John Cena? But it was pretty much like, you are now the New York Yankees. You are no longer an underdog. Okay, you are now Tom Brady, right? Well, not exactly Tom Brady, but you know what I mean. You are now at the top of the game. You can't be an underdog and the champion at the same time. That makes no sense. And I have a big feeling that he's going to underdog as the champion, and it's not going to work because you can't be an underdog if you're a champion. I'll probably get hate on here. That's fine. You won't get hate on here, Temple. I'll probably get hate here, but I don't want Cody to finish the story. He lost at Mania to Roma. Who's the most over guy in the company? That would be LA Knight. Yeah, no hate here, Temple. I was against Cody at WrestleMania. I was like, I don't want him to finish the story. He just got here, and I get it. You want to ride the momentum and everything like that. I was against for him to win at Mania because I'm like, he just came back. First of all, unfortunately, yeah, he got injured, but he only wrestled like 4 matches before he faced Roman. And it's like, you're going to have him win the title when you have the most over faction right now. And Cody kind of like didn't prove himself just yet. If that makes sense. Like, I know he had the injury and stuff like that, but he didn't prove himself as far as having, the rise to, kind of put a couple of feuds and matches under his belt for him to win at Mania against Roman. Yeah, a part of me don't want him to finish the story because it feels like there's a pressure for him to win the title from Roman. And people are like, oh yeah, it has to happen at WrestleMania. But in order for it, if y'all want Cody to win the title off of Roman at WrestleMania, that means Roman's going to hold the title until WrestleMania. But yeah, you're not going to get any hate on here, okay? I'm the president of the CodyRhodes Haters Club, so no hate here. But yeah, if he doesn't finish the story, I just don't want him to. I can't stand the ultimate underdog thing. I didn't like it when they had Roman Reigns doing it. I wasn't the biggest fan when they had John Cena doing it. It made sense for Daniel Bryan because that story was very organic. He definitely was one of those people that would never get a title shot. So that made sense. It made sense for Becky because she was in a division with Charlotte Flair and Sasha Banks and Bayley. And she was always like the person that gets put on the back burner. So, and she wasn't even exactly underdog. She had confidence about herself, So she wasn't exactly an underdog in the sense, but it's just the fact that Cody constantly is underdogging, but he's winning these feuds. So it's just like he's not losing except for, Roman, but he hasn't really lost any matches like that for him to really do this whole comeback story, except for the injury, of course. I would have LA Knight be Roman at Mania involving Cody Rhodes. Cody turns heel. Look at this. And we get LA Knight versus Cody that way. This Cody face isn't for me. Listen, the Cody face is not for me either. I felt as though he should have been heel in AEW. I'm like, even if he could have been one of those delusional baby faces where he felt as though, kind of what New Day did when they first started and when they came together, when they were delusional baby faces. And it immediately got them popular. I'm like, if he is worried about being a heel, all he has to do is be a delusional babyface for like less than a month. AEW fans would have ate it up and he would have got popular again. But yeah, but him just doing the ultimate underdog each and every time is just like, it gets tiring after a while. People had an issue with Roman Reigns, blue-eyed Roman Reigns, because they felt as though he was shoved down people's throat. I had an issue because I'm like, he's not an underdog. When you look at him, you don't say that's an underdog. He's a badass. And I feel the same way for Cody Rhodes. When you look at Cody, you don't sit there and say like, oh man, yeah, he's an underdog, this, that, and the third. Now for his dad, it makes sense because his dad definitely wasn't a face that they would throw a title on. But Cody Rhodes with the perfect teeth and the 3-piece suits, like he's about to attend a wedding each and every week, or pretty much the politician look, with the blonde hair and the American flag and stuff like that, and everybody's singing the song. That's not underdog, I mean, they kind of did it for Daniel Bryan, but he doesn't scream underdog. So it like really baffles me that he's doing what he did in AEW all over again. You're only smoking mirrors. Give Cody polka dots. You might as well at this point, because in his eyes, he feels as though like he is as much as an underdog babyface as his dad. And I get it, you look up to your dad and everything like that, and you want to make him proud, but it's like you have to do your own thing. It's very similar to my slight issue with Brian Pillman Jr., that he's like pretty much trying to be his dad. And it's like, no, you got to be your own person. You got to find your thing and do that. And it feels like with Cody, he's trying to really capture the underdog essence that his dad has had. And it's like, it's different times, different audience, different, league that we're in as far as like wrestlers and everything like that. Nowadays, there's not a lot of underdog that is, that can go long term. Tibble said Cody needs to get rid of that blonde hair and go back to his black hair and turn bloody heel. He definitely do. And I was hoping that he would turn heel in AEW, especially once he went after Brody Lee, because that's when people really started loving Brody Lee with his feud against Cody, and then of course with Sammy and everything. And it was just like he was like begging for people to to cheer for him. And I'm like, just be a delusional babyface. Just, feed into the boos and stuff like that. So I don't know. That's my Cody hate rant for the time being. Was that a pick six on Patty? On Mahomes? Oh my gosh, that is the look of I just threw a pick six. I'm about to watch the replay. But yeah, I cannot stand the ultimate, oh, it's the wide receiver's fault. Okay. Yep. Patrick's gonna yell at him. When it comes to Cody, it's just that underdogging thing. If he becomes the delusional baby face, I'd be like, okay, this is cool. But then he mentioned the thing that really pissed me off that he said was that he don't want to be a heel because of his daughter. And I'm like, bro, your daughter is 1 year old. All she has to if she Googles your wife, her mom, with that open mic night bitch, really, you turning heel is gonna be worse than that? Give me a break, sir. Give me a break. So we shall see once we get to SmackDown of what's gonna happen, but I'm very sure Cody Rhodes got transferred to SmackDown so that he can sit there and go against Roman Reigns for the title and finish the story. And then, of course, we had the main event, Shinsuke Nakamura going against Seth Rollins. I knew that Seth Rollins was going to retain, but damn it, did I have hope. First of all, I fucking love that anime intro that Shinsuke got. That was amazing. I want more of that. I will not mind Shinsuke going against Seth again. Let Seth have his vacation. I understand that everybody loves to sing a song and stuff like that, but let Seth have his vacation. Give Shinsuke that title. After that promo that he did in Japanese with the subtitles and stuff, and then they gave him that entrance, I was like, oh my gosh, there's Triple H. There's Triple H right there. That we got that fire ass entrance, that fire ass opening with the anime and everything like that. But yeah, I knew Seth was going to retain. It was a pretty good match between those two. I just wish that Shinsuke went after the back a little more. If he sat there and knew that the back was the target, I would have thought that he would have gone after the back a little more, but he really didn't. It is what it is when it comes to it. But overall, Payback was a solid pay-per-view. I just wish that, and kind of what I'll say for All Out, I just wish that the build to it was a lot more stronger. I mean overall. Now the build between Seth and Shinsuke was very good. The build with Becky and Trish, of course, has been going on for a while. We had a bit of a build between Rhea and Raquel, but Raquel was out for a little bit, of course, with the knee injury and everything. But I just wish that the build to it was a lot more stronger. Because a lot of these matches kind of came together within 2 weeks, 2 weeks before the pay-per-view, I believe. But we do have what is it, Fastlane next that's coming up after we do have Fastlane that's coming as the next pay-per-view October 5th. No, not October 5th. Where is it, the second or the 9th? I forget. No, hold on, Jaydee. I think it's the 7th, I believe. I forgot when Payback is. I believe it might be the 7th. Okay. Thank you, Context 2023. First of all, thank you for tuning in and thank you for letting me know. Yes, October 7th is Fastlane. So I'm hoping that we kind of get a better build for it. I know that we're kind of in like the dead part of the year for WWE because not much really happens strongly between SummerSlam and the Royal Rumble. Of course, we have Survivor Series in the middle, but after SummerSlam, you kind of get a lot of the feuds that really don't lead up to anything because there's a feuds to get people out of the way so that they can, get them in place for the Royal Rumble. I'm hoping that Survivor Series includes NXT since Triple H is in charge of creative. So if there's a WWE insider that's listening, tell Triple H to throw NXT in there. I would not mind seeing champion versus champion versus champion, Team NXT, Team Raw, Team SmackDown. I wouldn't mind that at all. Pillman Jr. is in NXT developmental, I heard. If Randy is helping come back, I would like to see a modern legacy with Randy, Cody, and Pillman Jr. That would be amazing for Brian Pillman Jr. Yeah, and I did hear he was in NXT developmental too. I'm happy for him. I'd rather for him be in NXT versus AEW because I feel like NXT would definitely help him more to figure out who he wants to be as far as a character and wrestler and everything. Because he's pretty good in the ring. It's just like the character and everything just doesn't connect with the audience because he tries to kind of like be very similar to his dad a lot. As far as like the face version of his dad. And I feel like he has to figure out who he is himself and kind of like somewhat separate himself from his dad. I know, it's going to be hard with the name and everything like that, but kind of separate himself to kind of be his own person. And Randy Orton will be the perfect person for that because, Randy Orton is a second, third generation wrestler and he made a fucking name for himself. Nobody talks about his dad like that because Randy Orton done made himself his own person. So yeah, I think Randy would be the perfect person to help out Brian Pillman Jr. So yeah, can't wait to see how that goes. But yeah, we have Fastlane coming up. Then we have Survivor Series, and I think Survivor Series is happening the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So it'll be real cool if we see the gobbledygooker because it's Thanksgiving weekend. That's gonna be an amazing weekend, first of all. Then we'll have Full Gear earlier that month as well. So looking forward to the next coming pay-per-views. And then of course we have Mania once it gets to Philly. And be sure to follow me on I keep wanting to say Twitter, on the X at JDC137 and follow the podcast. In November, I'm going to start giving like tips and stuff like that if you're coming to Philly for WrestleMania 40, especially for my friends outside of the US. If you want to know the best places to stay, where to eat, things like that, I'll give a lot of pointers on the social medias. Biggest thing, if you haven't booked your hotel already, there is a hotel right by the stadium. And then the second best place to stay is downtown. Unless you are coming to Philly just for Mania and you're leaving the next day, don't stay at the airport. It's going to be a hassle to get to your hotel by the airport after WrestleMania. And then especially if you're doing Uber or Lyft, or if you're driving, or if you want to take public transportation, it's going to be a bitch going from the stadium to your hotel. And especially of all the things that's going to be going on in Philly during that weekend, it's best to be downtown, Center City, Philadelphia, to stay at the hotel. We have plenty of hotels in Center City. And you'll hear Old City too. That's pretty much downtown. But yeah, those are the best places to stay. I'll tell you like places to eat at and stuff like that. Be very careful with Airbnb. You may hear people say, oh, this is a good part of town. There's not a lot of good parts of town because dumb shit happens in Philly, all over Philly. but you are best to be in Center City because there's a lot of things that goes on. They definitely clean up Center City. It looks beautiful. I mean, they definitely clean it up down there. They'll make it look pretty for you. You'll probably come across some dumb stuff down there. But it's more cops be around Center City and all that other stuff. You're better off staying in Center City. But yeah, I'll tell you like places to stay, where to eat and everything like that. What else I'm going to talk about? And then of course, once we get closer to Mania weekend of, depending on where things are, like, how to handle the weekend and stuff like that. But Philly is definitely nice. My biggest thing is don't go to Kensington. I know people do TikToks and videos of Kensington, but a lot of us that live in Philly, we don't go to Kensington. The only reason you need to be in Kensington is if you live there or if you're passing through. That's it. Like it's not a tourist site. Don't go driving around there, especially at night. You'll be asking for it if you drive around there at night. We have a mental health issue and a drug issue in Philly, and Kensington is definitely not the tourist spot for you to go. If you want to see what it looks like, go ahead and look it up on social media to see it. But it's a lot worse than. But yeah, don't go driving around there. It's definitely Shinsuke Nakamura, always the bridesmaid and never the bride. I know, and I'm really a big fan of Shinsuke Nakamura, but I feel like his time is coming. I feel like his time is coming. I don't mind, having the 2 titles, but I really feel I feel like his time is coming. Love Seth was really hoping for Nakamura to take it. Same here. I was really hoping for Nakamura to take the win as well, but we'll see it. What's going on, Casanova? No, Cassava. I don't know why I said Casanova. Spirit, little by little, becomes a heel. Yes, definitely. Yeah, like I said, Payback is, overall was a pretty good show. And I can't wait for what we get from Fastlane and then from Survivor Series. And then we just roll on to Royal Rumble as we gear up for Mania 40. Cannot wait because it's in Philly. And WrestleMania is 2 days before my 40th birthday. But Mania tickets are fucking crazy. I don't know who, for them ticket prices, they better have Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan. They better have a hologram of Andre the Giant, Ultimate Warrior, and Macho Man. They better have the Undertaker. The Undertaker better sit there and have a sit down and talk to us about his thoughts on the matches that he had during the streak. We better have The Rock as the host. We better have John Cena up in there. We better have an Eagles game going on during a halftime or something like that. Those ticket prices are crazy. And that stadium, those nosebleed seats are nosebleed. So them charging $500, $300 and stuff like that is insane. I'd rather go to Raw after Mania, depending on goes to the Hall of Fame. I'll go to that SmackDown. Definitely may go to the NXT show for that day. Definitely want to go to Wale Mania and definitely going to check out a lot of indie shows that's going on around there. But them prices for WrestleMania, sir, I get it, but we're only Philadelphia. We're only Philadelphia. You better hope it doesn't rain or it has snowed in April in Philly. So the weather better be perfect. It better be 80 degrees outside. Okay. And I know it's going to be at night, but it better be for them ticket prices. It better be perfect weather conditions for all that. Cause that is fucking crazy. But enough about that little rant about Mania and ticket prices. let's get into All Out. First of all, we had the over budget charity battle royale. Had no idea who was going to be in this, but we had Tony Nese, Serpentico, Sean Spears, Commander, Angelo Parker, Dalton Castle, Darius Martin, Chuck Taylor, Bishop Khan, Matt Menard, Jake Hager, Mark Davis, Daniel Garcia, Scorpio Sky. We found him. Action Andretti, Kyle Fletcher, which Kyle Fletcher and we had Trent Beretta, Toya Loina, and Brian Cage, and Hangman Adam Page. And I'm like, the fact that we had Aussie Open in this battle royale and not trying to get a rematch for their title is a crime. Temple says Mania 40 is in Philadelphia. To quote an Adele song, "Hello, Pepsi Phil." CM Punk Adele Hello song for you. That'll be great. I am a fan of CM Punk's theme song, though. Ever since he used it, I've been a fan of that song. I actually played it today in the car when I was driving too. But yeah, that would be crazy. Now, ticket prices will maybe worth it if CM Punk shows up. Like I need a lot in order for that to happen. I need a lot in order to pay them ticket prices. $5,000, $300 for the rides and stuff like that, which will be not really nosebleed, but slight nosebleed. Nah, CM Punk better come back and pass out the fucking ice cream bars for them prices. Like, what? But getting back to the battle royale, it was very obvious that Adam Page was going to win, and the fact that we constantly had the embassy being highlighted and stuff like that, I figured there was going to be the runners up and stuff like that. I'm a fan of Daniel Garcia, and Daniel Garcia going up the ramp with the hips. Awesome. I love Daniel Garcia. Them hips do not lie. But yeah, this, the premise of this, I'm fine with, that the winner gets $50,000 put to their charity, to a charity of their choice. I like that idea. I always give Tony Khan his flowers for these charity ideas and stuff like that. I love it. So Hangman Adam Page wins, and he decides to give the money to the Chicago Public Education Fund, which I did laugh at. He did explain the reason why he chose the charity on Dynamite, but I was like, I feel like this is a smart ass move of, you guys are going to boo me, well, I'm going to give $50,000 to your education fund. You can't boo that. But he did explain the reason why he did it is because he was a high school teacher. Because I'm like, excuse me, would have been great if you were a high school teacher in Philly, seeing as though my son is now in high school. But that is neither here or there. But he was a high school teacher, and he feels as though that teachers are underappreciated, underpaid, and underfunded. And I was like, that's fine. Temple said that was a very bad joke on my part. No, you're fine with that joke. Listen, I make bad jokes. I make bad jokes too. I thought that was funny though. An Adele song with "Hello, Pepsi Phil." So yes, CM Punk coming in, just hello. I can't sing, but hello from the other side. But you're cool, Temple. You're cool with that joke. That was a good one though. But yeah, Hangman Adam Page choosing the Chicago Public Education Fund because he was a teacher. So I really appreciated that. And then we had first of all, I applause to Tony Khan because we got 2 women's matches on here. Very happy for him. Very happy for him. So we had Hikaru Shida, Willow Nightingale, and Sky Blue respectfully going against Athena, Mercedes Martinez, and Diamante. This match, of course, it was a breakdown between the team of Athena, Mercedes, and Diamante. in the end, we knew that Sky Blue was going to win because it's in Chicago. She got to represent Chicago, especially since there is no other Chicago representation going on in that card because he got fired. So yeah, but you had respectfully Sky Blue on there who won, and I was very happy for her as well. What's good, Get Show? Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. As we go into these all out review, but it was a good match between these 6 women. Like I said, it was pretty much of Athena sitting there saying, you know, I'm the fucking champ. I don't really need you. And of course, Mercedes Martinez and Diamante was like, well, fuck you. And Athena went to go for the tag, and Diamante and Mercedes jumped off the apron so that Athena was by herself. But Hikaru Shida completely forgetting that she was champion and not trying to get a rematch or anything like that. Okay, but you know, hey, she wanted to fight Athena, so it is with that. CM Punk comes out to Adele. Hello, it's me, Phil. I was wondering if I was safe to come back to WWE. Yes, I'm sure that's, you know what, Temple, that's probably the voicemail he left on Triple H's voicemail. No, probably Vince. I feel like he's more tolerant of Vince than he is of Triple H. That's probably the voicemail that he left for someone as well. But yeah. Hello from the other side. Hello, it's me. I was wondering if I can come back to WWE. I'm sorry. I didn't know that Tony Khan and the Elite wanted me to go. But hello from the other side. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine CM Punk coming back? Cody would be jealous. Y'all supposed to love me. Love me. Oh my gosh, be sitting there singing and I'm telling you from the gorilla position. But that 6 women's tag was pretty good. And then of course we had the feel good match. The 6-man tag for the AEW World Trios match. We got the Acclaimed, which everyone loves the Acclaim, with Billy Gunn, who is now daddy ass at this point, going against Team TNA, Jeff Jarrett, Saddam Singh, and Jay Lethal with Kara Jarrett. First of all, and they had Dennis Rodman, and the Acclaim had Dennis Rodman with them, which blew my damn mind because Dennis Rodman was just, I don't think Dennis Rodman knew what was going on. Because he just looking all types confused. Billy Gunn was sitting there trying to tell him which camera to face at the end of the match and everything like that. They had Aubrey Edwards as the referee, which Karen Jarrett did not like. The funniest thing, of course, was Dennis Rodman took the guitar. I think he hit Jay Lethal with the guitar, and you had the debris of the guitar. You had Dennis Rodman with the guitar handle in his hand, and Aubrey was like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. So I'm sure we're going to get a rematch between those two, unless Tony Khan's like, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, it was pretty much a, definitely the murder. It was just like Clue. You had Mr. Mustard with the candlestick in the study, and Aubrey Edwards was like, are you guys about to pin? Is he okay? Do I need to count or anything like that? Getcha said Dennis Rodman was happy to be paid. He definitely was happy to be paid, especially that, Shaq, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Shaq or Michael Jordan was not around to take the spotlight for him. So yeah, I think he was happy. But yeah, after the match, Dennis Rodman had his back to the heart camera as they were trying to put their hands up in celebration. And Billy Gunn's like, no, you got to face that way. And then Dennis Rodman did a quarter turn and was facing sideways to the other crowd. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Dennis Rodman's just like, I'm just here so I don't get fined, pretty much. But it was a fun match though. Of course, with the Acclaimed, and everybody loves the Acclaimed. Man was wearing Crocs. Yes, I did see that. Size 14 Crocs. Sheesh. Those bad boys were custom made. They had to have been custom made. But it was a fun match though, with the Acclaimed, of course. I forgot what I knew that Max Caster said some funny stuff during his entrance rap, but I forgot exactly. I didn't write down all that he said, but it was a fun match. Of course, the Acclaimed retained, which I kind of figured that they were going to retain. And then after that, we had for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship, Better Than You, Baby, Michael Cole and MJF going against the Dark Order. MJF pulling, a Roman Reigns here of not defending his title, but instead being a tag team match, which I'm not mad at. To give the IC title a little bit more. I'm sitting here saying it's like me saying ATM machine, but with the Intercontinental Championship getting some time to shine, which I'm not mad about. But we had, of course, them going against Dark Order, which very slim chance of Dark Order winning here. But of course, the biggest thing that they fucking put over is the kangaroo kick and the double clothesline. I feel bad for the Dark Order. Of course, now at this point that they are heel, especially with Evil Uno by their side, I feel bad for the Dark Order because, since Brody's passing, they really have been just there. And I'm a big fan of John Silver. And I actually seen Alex Reynolds years ago, 10 years ago, actually, when he wrestled at House of Hardcore. It's amazing the people that I've seen wrestle at House of Hardcore before I knew who the fuck they really were. I've seen Eddie Kingston before that. I saw Zelina Vega wrestle. It's just like, this is amazing. And then I saw Kevin Steen, who I didn't really know who he was at that point. And yeah, it's amazing the people who I saw in House of Hardcore before they made it big in AEW or WWE. But yeah, saw Alex Reynolds wrestle back then. And I feel bad, like I said, I feel bad for the Dark Order because they definitely need something going for them. But you can't really top when they were when Brody was in charge of the Dark Order. But I feel bad for them because they're pretty much in limbo. But of course, Better Than You, Baby won here. Adam Cole was, got hurt. His neck was, hurting him pretty much. It was walking around holding his neck. They did the spot of him going into the back and stuff like that because his neck was really hurting, which left Adam Cole by himself. And then MJF comes back out to help out his friend because they are best friends. And yeah, so we had that going, and MJF and Adam Cole are just over as all hell. Which I'm happy for them that, we kind of getting a little bit something more with Adam Cole here. And so I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. I'm not mad at that at all. I'm just texting because I hear my son sound like he's still playing on the game, and it is bedtime. So I let them know it is bedtime because they gotta get up early in the morning. Y'all know how it is. My fellow parents know how it is, and if you're not a parent, you know how it was growing up. I remember how I was growing up, especially when you're in the middle of something and then it's bedtime and you try to get them extra 5 minutes or so. but here we had Better Than You, baby, winning here. MJF was leaving out, and then here comes Samoa Joe, of course, coming out. And I didn't even catch it until someone said it later on that night, or probably even either later on that night or maybe even once we got to Dynamite. But fucking Samoa Joe comes out and he pushes MJF just like he did when they were both in NXT. And MJF had this look on his face. Adam Cole tried to calm him down, but no, MJF was not having it. And that motherfucker snapped. Corey's got into the ring. Samoa Joe whooped his ass some more, hurt his neck even more. And we had this happen again pretty much on Dynamite with no, they got pulled away. But they got pulled away. But we did have them fight once again with MJF getting his hurt neck, and here comes the ex-girlfriend fucking Roderick Strong. Ooh, that looks like an injury. I hope his shoulder and elbow are okay. That was a rough landing on the elbow. I'm watching football, by the way. That's a rough landing on the elbow. But yeah, then here comes the ex-girlfriend Roderick Strong. I thought you loved me. You care more about his neck than mine. Why don't you love me? I thought we were great together. This, that, and the third. Definitely the Zack Ryder. He gives me straight up Zack Ryder feels when it was John Cena and Eve, I think it was. Just he might as well be in a wheelchair or something. Get Show said that promo had bars. Listen, the back and forth between them on Dynamite, especially with Samoa Joe saying, last time I was messing around with ice cream trucks was when I was the top star on another network. I said, yes, Samoa Joe. You were a top star as Sweet Tooth. You cashing in them damn checks. And I'm not mad at that. I would love to see if there is like some behind the scenes footage or something like that of Samoa Joe saying the lines of Sweet Tooth, because I know we had Will Arnett doing the voice of Sweet Tooth, but I would love to see Samoa Joe saying the lines. I'm sure that will be so fun. So fun. Good night. All Out was so good. That MJF Joe interaction was great. It was great. I'm hoping we get a long ass feud out of them too, yo. The promo for promo. I mean, at first the crowd on Dynamite was saying that Joe is going to kill you, and then it switched to MJF or Max is going to kill you or something like that. So whenever the crowd is kind of like split between people, especially during a promo segment, it's going to be a good feud. So I cannot wait for them to just don't let this end on the Dynamite, Tony Khan, if you're listening, do not let this end on a random Dynamite. I wouldn't they might have this happen at the New York show, which I think is like mid-September. So I'm sure that's probably what might happen. But I would not be mad if just let this keep going. I love this promo for promo between Samoa Joe and MJF. It's really good. But speaking of Samoa Joe, we had a match between him and Shane Taylor. And, I was excited to see this match. This is for the Ring of Honor TV Championship. Shane Taylor did a championship eliminator tournament. One of Tony Khan's favorite things is to have a championship eliminator tournament. And he won. And I thought this would be a lot more. I thought this would be a bigger match between these two because of the match that we had between Shane Taylor when he was in the tag team going against Keith Lee. But nope, Samoa Joe came, whooped ass pretty much, and then left. I mean, I'm not too mad at it, but I wish that we had a bigger showing of Shane Taylor. But it is what it is. You have to put over your Ring of Honor TV championship, especially the fact that you're having this feud between Samoa Joe and MJF. The Dynamite one to follow was even better. It was a lot better. 20 times better. Chef's kiss for that. But it is what it is. Samoa Joe retained. Strong showing of Samoa Joe. Like I said, since he is going to be going after I guess he's going after the championship. I mean, it would make sense for that to happen. So he can be 2-belt Joe. I would not be mad at that at all. And then of course we have for the AEW TNT Championship, we had Luchasaurus with the champion and father of the year, Christian Cage going against Darby Allin and with Nick Wayne by his side. First of all, shout out to motherfucking Christian Cage. He is fucking hilarious. Sat there and told Nick Wayne that, I know I talked about your father, but that was your mother. That was your mom ringside. He was like, I was talking about your dad, but I should have been talking about her. And he sat there and pretty much said that he's going to slide into her DMs. I was like, this man is like attacking the dead fathers while trying to get with the moms. I mean, Christian is like peak here. And I'm like, I know people want Darby Allin to win the TNT championship, but I'm like, let Christian Cage hold this title, yo. I do not mind them holding this title if we can get this Christian Cage all the time. And if you didn't see the media scrum with Christian Cage, that bad boy was hilarious. They had someone ask him about Edge coming to AEW, and he sat there straightest face ever. I'm here to talk about myself and to talk about Luchasaurus. I only have Luchasaurus. I don't have any other friends. And then Tony Khan was like, well, you talk about Darby Allin and Nick Wayne. And Christian was, first of all, Christian kept picking up the mic or leaning into it. And he was like, Tony Khan was like, well, you talk about Darby Allin and Nick Wayne. And Christian was like, I don't talk about them. They're not my friends. They're my problem. And I was like, this is fucking hilarious. Of course, when he came into the media scrum, he was like, how's everyone fathers today? I was like, oh my gosh, I know that, June had passed, but they definitely need like a father of the year or like him open up an orphanage or something. Like this Christian Cage is amazing. And then they showed it on Dynamite, I believe. He came up to Nick Wayne. He was like, I remember you mentioned previously, or this may have been Collision, but he said, I remember you mentioned previously that your dad was a wrestler. So I decided to check out some footage of your dad wrestling. And he was like, and I just want to apologize. He's worse than he thought. He's worse than I thought he was. And he was like, if you need a mentor or something like that, or, someone to help you out, someone of championship value, look no further than Christian Cage. And then sat there and gave the Mark Wahlberg line of say hello to your mother for me. Oh my gosh. Like this guy is on fire. If Edge comes over, Edge has to come over and immediately be a heel or be a face and go against Christian Cage. But I want Christian Cage to be this heel. Like for the longest of time. He is so amazing in this role. Amazing. So of course our champion Christian Cage wins here. He defeats Darby Allin, which, like I said, I'm not mad at because Christian Cage is just doing the best right now. Faction Cast says Nick Wayne's mom respectfully. Listen, I'm not going to argue with you because when I saw Nick Wayne's mom, I was like, that's his mom? Like, it was like No Way Home Aunt May type of situation. I'm like, that's his mom? Fresh Cats, I see her at some shows. Did you wave at her? Hi, Nick Wayne's mom. But yeah, Kirsten Cage is planning to slide in her DMs and become a stepfather to Nick Wayne. A part of me wants, like, I know it's very WWE, but a part of me wants a storyline of that to happen just to hear the fucking things that Christian Cage would say. Like, what's going on? Hi, son. How you doing today? Like, oh my gosh, just to hear the promo that Christian Cage would cut at being a stepdad. That will be the funniest thing. I probably would be in tears from the things that he say. But oh my gosh, him just anytime someone mentions that their father has passed away, he's drawn to it. So I can't wait to see what happens next with him. It's the funniest thing, of course. And then, so of course, like I said, we had Luchasaurus, aka Christian Cage, one of the best TNT champions of all time, retain here. And next, the meatiest match of the evening. Miro going against Powerhouse Hobbs. First of all, shout out to the crowd, okay? The best crowd reaction to a match I've seen maybe since Puerto Rico. Maybe since Puerto Rico with the Bad Bunny match. But the crowd reaction to this match, this felt like an international crowd, with coming together with the chants and the reactions and stuff like that. It was amazing. It was a spectacle to behold. There's going to be people that is going to do research on this match in the future. And it all starts with a lovely man from WWE, just AEW fans and WWE fans coming together for this match. And yes, like Fashion Cast saying here, 5 simple words that was said years ago, by a lovely man, a Big E, who was asked his dream match, which he said Goldberg. And he said, you think it's going to be a 5-star match? Nah. Your 30-minute classics? Not here. He is here to see, he just wants 2 men with big chests and, just beefy. And then he said these 5 words that will change the history of the way that you will look at certain wrestling matches. And that was big meaty men slapping meat. If I was in college and I had to do an essay on something, I would do an essay based on these 5 words and how these 5 words led to the spectacle that is the match between Miro and Powerhouse Hobbs. Like just King Kong versus Godzilla type of shit. But yes, big meaty men slapping meat. It was Labor Day weekend. Normally people like to do cookouts and barbecues, throw some meat on the grill, burgers, hot dogs, ribs, steaks, chicken, lamb for those with the pinky fingers in the air, filet mignon, wagyu beef, and no amount of cookout food or anything like that will compare to the amount of meat, like Tim said here, that we experienced in that match. And people are going to one day look back, and we're going to talk about on September 3rd of 2023, we experienced the meatiest of matches, pretty much the embodiment of big meaty men slapping meat. And it was a sight to behold. And it will be an experience that a lot of people will not forget. I mean, the amount, the chants that came out of this match, Chef's Kiss to Chicago, the beef, slap that meat, tap that meat, holy meat, kiss that meat, beat that meat, and of course, my favorite, meat forever, which Excalibur said Excalibur is a talent, okay? He said it could be a new mode in Fight Forever, and then of course he started talking about the Stadium Stampede. I said that was pretty much a layup for you to go into that. But yes, the meat forever and holy meat was crazy. Yes, Godzilla versus King Kong, Ali versus Frazier, Kid versus Carr, and now Miro versus Hobbs. And then on top of that, at the end, they did the shit that oh my gosh. I call it the Rocky John, of course. But they both grabbed hands and muscles popping, forearm muscles popping. It was a spectacle to behold. Some hilarious chants. Listen, I was in tears watching this match. I was like, if the crowd that I would love to be in, I would have loved to be in that crowd for that match. I know that they're planning to come, is AEW? No. Yeah, AEW is planning to come to Philly, I believe, in October. I think. Yeah, I think they're coming in October. And I wish there would be a Miro and Powerhouse Hobbs back and forth. Well, no, that's they're coming for Dynamite. But I would wish to be in a crowd to experience that match and the crowd just chanting. What's going on, Brian Cook? Pretty fitting this was in Chicago. We are known for our stockyards out south. Listen, the amount of meat is in that match was just crazy. This needs to turn into like a motherfucking Rocky series. Like, I need Miro and Powerhouse Hobbs to come back at it again. I need just meat forever. Meat forever. Instead of hide your wives, it's Edge. Hide your dead fathers, it's Christian Cage. Man is one of the best heels in the business right now. Yes, Christian Cage is definitely one of the best heels going on in AEW. Don't tell him that your father is dead. Tell him your father is alive. He is in your life. You do not need a father figure or a mentor. But he is out here just trying to be a mentor to all the fatherless men. And he's out here. He's just trying to do good, for the youth. He's like the Boys and Girls Clubs, except for, for those who don't have a dad. I call the MJF and Samoa Joe. Yes. The callback for MJF and Samoa Joe is nice. And I didn't even realize that the matches were going to be back to back. But yeah, that was a nice tie-in between the Adam Cole and the Samoa Joe. Great segue between those two matches. But yes, first of all, and I also said, this is the match. CM Punk is rolling in his grave, as I would like to say, because Chicago had so much fun in this match. Completely forgot about his ass. They were sitting there frolicking in the grass while CM Punk is like wanting them to chant CM Punk, put up the X and everything like that for them, drink their Pepsis. Of course, their people's signs got confiscated. Very much WWE Tony Khan. Thought, freedom of speech and everything. But yeah, CM Punk rolling in his grave because Chicago was having so much fun in this match. Completely forgot that your boy wasn't there. there, I've read people saying we're on our way to All Out and we're crying because CM Punk was not there. I bet your ass was not crying during this match. You was sitting there just chanting meat and all this other stuff and everything like that. Whereas though CM Punk is sitting there, singing Hello Darkness, my old friend, because his city sitting there frolicking in the fields, having fun with big meaty men slapping meat. Temple shouted, I shouted big men slapping meat, and my fiance come into the room and just gave me a funny look and walk out. Listen, they need to release a shirt that says big meaty men slapping meat. I love wrestling shirts that really does not really give context and just confuse the hell out of people. Like the Mom 316 shirt. I do have the Jimmy Uso shirt, Nobody's Bitch. Only I don't wear that shirt that often because I don't want nobody getting offended or anything like that. I want to get the Acknowledge Me shirt. And then I would love for someone, but yeah, a big meaty men slapping meat. Well, first of all, I probably won't be able to wear it because weirdos. But I would love for that shirt to exist because there's no explanation of what the fuck that means. No explanation of what the hell that means. And, just seeing someone wear that shirt and you understand that reference and you go, yes. That's Miro versus Powerhouse Hobbs. But that was such a fun match. I cannot wait for it to happen again. We had Miro who won because Powerhouse Hobbs actually tapped out, which I didn't expect. I thought they would give him the pass out thing because he's so meaty. I thought he would pass out, but it is what it is. And then we had Powerhouse Hobbs started attacking Miro because we got to keep this thing going. You have to keep it going. And so then we had music playing, and then all we saw was Hot and Flexible, and out comes Lana, or CJ Perry. I'm sure she's going to be called CJ Perry, but she comes out. We normally have a debut or a return that happens at All Out, and she was or surprise appearance, I guess I should say, because I don't recall seeing the graphic that said she's All Elite, but they didn't really say, I don't recall if they said CJ Perry. Well, no, I think Excalibur said CJ Perry and that she's Miro's wife, but she didn't really have anything on the Titantron except for Hot and Flexible. And fucking respectfully, she looked good. She had the jacket. The jacket was jacketing. And I was like, motherfucking respectfully, ma'am. So she comes down to the ring. Well, she took off the shoes because she had to run to the ring. I was slightly afraid that she was going to trip, but she made it down the ramp, grabbed the chair, and then hit Powerhouse Hobbs with it. Of course, because Powerhouse Hobbs has so much meat. Fuck. See, Detroit scored a touchdown. I got Kansas City defense, so that is not a good look on my part. But yeah, we had she hit him with the chair and everything like that, and because he's so meaty, the chair just didn't really do much to him. So he got up and he stared her down, and not gonna lie, I had flashbacks to Lana and Bobby Lashley, and I was like, oh my god, they better not do anything close to that fucking thing. So I immediately had flashbacks. Miro then took the chair, hit Powerhouse Hobbs with it, and then it was a stare down between Miro and CJ Perry. And then he sat there and he gave her a look, walked out the ring and says, "You're not real. You're not real." And I'm like, sir? Sir, respectfully, that is your wife. That's who you kept talking about. Your hot wife this whole time. You see her in the face and you say, "You're not real," and you walk away from her? Sir, there's a lot of people in the state of the world that will happily, let you know or prove to you that she is real for scientific research purposes, of course. Temple says, I need that Claudio eats egg shit that Eddie Kingston. Oh, yeah. Claudio sucks egg shirt that Eddie Kingston had on. Yeah, Terry Funk did that shirt, but his says that Dusty sucks eggs, which I thought that was funny. Eddie Kingston is the funniest person, of course. He is like, gosh, I can listen to Eddie Kingston cut promos all day. God, no. Miro's in a program with a black wrestler in Powerhouse Hobbs, and his wife has returned. Please do not do a Bobby Lashley TK. Please don't. Yes, Tony Khan, if you are listening, don't do it. If you want to retain viewership and positive fan reaction, you stay far away from that storyline. Yeah, when I saw him turn around and stare at her and she's looking at him, I started to like internally freak out. I was like, she better not smile at him, or he better not, do anything. This better not turn into a thing. It just like immediately took me back there. That would be the worst thing, because I was so upset with that storyline, because I was like, Bobby Lashley is so much better than just being a fuckboy for Lana. And I was like, no, I don't know. Not the Powerhouse Hobbs, who just got something started after missing for so long, him and Miro. No, let's not do it. Don't do it, TK. Please don't do it. Do not do it. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Do not book Powerhouse Hobbs in a storyline with Lana, aka CJ Perry. Don't do it. But I wouldn't mind, though, this feud between Miro and Powerhouse Hobbs continuing, because big meaty men slapping meat is a great thing for everyone. So after that, we had Chris Statlander going against Ruby Soho, who had Saraya by her side. The Hubs was rooting for Ruby Soho. I figured Chris Statlander was going to retain, and I feel bad for Ruby Soho, because this is like the third or fourth time that she has either had a shot at the title or a shot to have a bit of a push, but it hasn't happened because she got defeated. So I knew that Chris Statlander was going to retain. I didn't expect for her to retain the way that she did. It was a good match between those two. But then we had Toni Storm fucking respectfully come out of underneath the ring, because Ruby was going to use the spray can to win. She took the spray can from her and sprayed her herself and started laughing. And I was like, Toni Storm, motherfucking respectfully. She looked really good. And then, of course, Chris Statlander retains. So, of course, we're going to have something going on between her, Saraya, and Ruby Soho. I love this gimmick that she is doing. The like crazy 50s actress. I forgot who they said that she's very similar to. I believe it's a character from Sunset Boulevard. It's a movie. I think that's where it's from. This came from. But listen, I'm not mad at it at all. I'm not mad at that at all. Of course, her interview on Dynamite, where she doesn't recall anything that's happened. But the best part, of course, was the you know what I say, chin up, tits out, and watch out for the shoe. First of all, my mouth dropped. The Hub saw that segment with me, and we saw the tits out, and her grabbed Renee to do the tits out part. I was like, first of all, if she needs practice with that promo, at JDC 137 Toni Storm, respectfully. But yeah, I was like, listen, they could put that on a t-shirt, but that's one of them t-shirts that people will read it and definitely will not understand the context of it. And so we're going to put that idea to the side, of course. So next up, we had a no disqualification strap match between Ricky Starks and Bryan Danielson. This was such a good match between these two. And if you didn't listen to Bryan Danielson talk about this match afterwards, he put over Ricky Starks so much in this match. He said that Ricky Starks was the one who carried him in this match, because it seems like Bryan Danielson wasn't exactly 100% healed. He said he didn't use the arm that was broken, which I didn't even really notice. That he didn't use the arm that was originally broken. Like, he said the arm is technically healed, but he didn't use the arm. He looked like he didn't skip a step, but he put over Ricky Starks as far as how good he was in this match of the night, in my opinion. This match was so good between these two. I mean, I'm a big fan of Ricky Starks. And of course, I love Bryan Danielson. I love this version of Bryan Danielson where he just wants to be the best wrestler in the world and he just wants to beat the shit out of someone. I'm like, I can't argue with that. I can get behind that. You want to prove that you're the best wrestler in the world, you want to beat the shit out of people. I'm not going to stop you. But this was such a good match. Oh my gosh. And it was like the little bit of storytelling that happened in this match. It was pretty much Bryan Danielson wanting to push Ricky Starks to the limit, kind of to like get him the snap. I mean, there was the spot where they were just hitting each other over and over again. I think it was Ricky Starks who was hitting Bryan Danielson. Bryan was on his knees and Ricky Starks was just like hit him over and over and over again. And Bryan Danielson's like, come on, give me more. Such good shit, yo. As Vince would say, such good shit. This was like, and the build to this was of course short because there was a certain other person that was supposed to be in this match. And I know there's some Chicago people in here, and I have to say, this match wouldn't have been as good with your boy in it. I mean, first of all, it's Bryan Danielson, best wrestler in the world. But truthfully, I feel as though this strap match would not have been as intense with CM Punk in it instead of Bryan Danielson. Like, even the small build to this match has such intensity between these two. You would have thought you would have thought it was Christian Cage saying something about Ricky Stark's dad or his mom or something. Like, this was crazy. Faction Cast said the other person was at home drinking Pepsi. He was at home drinking Pepsi, probably cursing up a storm because 2 matches ago, Chicago sitting there frolicking in the fields, just having fun, chanting about meat and everything like that instead of chanting his name. But this match was so good, man. It went on for about almost 23 minutes, but this match, it had everything for me. Even though Bryan Danielson won, and I loved the fact that Ricky Starks did not tap, he passed out. Like he said on Dynamite, no one has tapped him out. And I love that because it keeps him strong. He can continue on whether he goes against Bryan Danielson again or whatever feud they decide to move on to next. I'm just really hoping that this is a bit of a slight push for him because he is like so good. A bit on a roll, even though, yes, with CM Punk, but I feel as though this little feud with him and Bryan Danielson kind of like gave him a second wind almost. Because, he was good in the match between him and CM Punk before Ricky turned heel. But in my opinion, I felt as though the feud between Ricky Starks and CM Punk was more about CM Punk winning over versus, Ricky Starks kind of getting his time to shine. And I feel like with this strap match and the way that Bryan Danielson put him over in the media scrum definitely gave him his time to shine. But this was such a good match. I cannot wait for these two to go back at it again. Then next up, we had the tag team match of Eddie Kingston and Shatsururi Shibata going against Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. Listen, the beef between Eddie Kingston and Claudio Castagnoli will also be a thing that people years, centuries from now will be talking about in their research and studies in school. Because the amount of beef, I mean, there is just amount of beef between Claudio and Eddie Kingston, and it was in the Miro versus Powerhouse Hobbs match. Like, Eddie Kingston will not let it go, and is not happy until, I don't even know, I guess until the end of time with Eddie Kingston and Claudio. But this was it was a good match. Of course, Wheeler Yuta, who is from Philly, who I'm a fan of. He always has to get his ass beat. I understand, you have to have the person get their ass beat. We always make it Juice Robinson with the Bullet Club Gold, but it's always Wheeler Yuta who gets his ass beat during the match. Of course, like Temple said, Eddie Kingston was wearing the Claudio Sucks Egg shirt, which I was like, yo, man. Eddie Kingston does not like Claudio, yo. To have a whole shirt created to let the world know that he sucks eggs, crazy. And then Shibata, of course, showing how crazy he is. He had a leg lock on Wheeler Yuta, and then Claudio tried to come up with the save, and instead Shibata got the ankle lock on Claudio, which I was like, chef's kiss for this amount of wrestling going on here. But in the end, we had Blackpool Combat Club who won, which I was a bit shocked. I had Eddie Kingston and crew to win here, but I guess we had, Blackpool Combat Club to win here to continue the dominance of that, of the faction, and I guess to continue this feud with Claudio and Eddie until the end of time. I don't know. I guess they're going to end up in a cage or something like that, or something. Like, this is going to keep on going. I mean, apparently it's been going on for 15 years. I guess what's another couple of months? And then we get to the match with the guy and Kenny Omega. Konosuke Takeshita, ladies and gentlemen, who I am so impressed by. This guy went from, people saying, who the hell is this person, to, oh, he's kind of talented, to defeating Kenny Omega twice in 10 days. Was it clean? No, it wasn't. But when you look at the record books, you will see that he pinned Kenny Omega twice. This match went for 30 minutes. I know people felt as though it went pretty long, but it was a lot of motherfucking hard hitting in this match. Of course, it was the crazy spot where Kenny fucking landed on his head, which was the craziest shit ever. And then Don Callis tried to, in 4K, attempted murder with the screwdriver, tried to stab fucking Kenny Omega in the head. That screwdriver went through the mat. You weren't trying to bang to get him to bleed or anything like that. No, you was trying to penetrate skull, my guy. But in the end, Konosuke Takeshita won. And Faction Cast said Kenny lands on his head just as much as Jon Moxley bleeds. So true, man. So true. Like, this motherfucker must have like metal plate in his head or something like that. Because I legit thought like the match was going to stop when he got dropped on his head. That was a nasty ass fall. And then, like, it's damn near almost every match this man has been in, he has fallen on his head. Now, first of all, I'm a big fan of Konosuke Takeshita. And then on top of that, he is the one who won me the predictions. You are looking at 2-belt Jaydee, as I won the women's title for the predictions and the overall world title for predictions. And it was all because of Konosuke Takeshita. I guess at this point I should join Don Callis's family because Takeshita did a lot for my predictions. I was by his side when everyone was saying Kenny Omega, and I said, no. Konosuke Takeshita, ladies and gentlemen, defeated Kenny Omega twice in 10 days. So, of course, this feud is going to continue between these two. I don't know if this is a feud that's going to end at Grand Slam, if this is going to end at Wrestle Dream, or if this continues the Full Gear. Not 100% sure. We shall see. But I love the fact that Konosuke had won, and I love the fact that he has grown so much since he has come to AEW. And then next up, the other match that had CM Punk rolling in his grave, because it was very weird. I had to verify that Tony wasn't fucking with the audio. But no, we heard it clear with our ears. There was cheers for this team. And it was Bullet Club Gold. First of all, the entrance for Bullet Club Gold will always be one of my favorites. Wasn't sure of Juice Robinson teaming up with Jay White. He has definitely changed my mind and proved me wrong. Because of course he's the crazy one of the group that has to do this. Of course, the Gun Club, I am a big fan of. And then Jay White, it's fucking Jay White, who has replaced CM Punk as the centerpiece on the Collision posters. So the Bullet Club Gold is fucking amazing. And they went against FTR, who came out, and of course they are Team CM Punk. But they teamed up with the people who are against CM Punk and more likely was behind according to a lot of people's theory, they were the ones who wanted CM Punk out. And here they are teaming up with his friends. And we had mixed chants. It was a very mixed crowd with the Young Bucks, which I was so shocked about. I thought they would be booing like crazy, like they did when CM Punk was suspended and they went and wrestled. I think they were going against, I think it was the Elite going against Death Triangle, and ended up in Chicago, and that crowd booed the shit out of them. But here we are with the Young Bucks, who of course the night before, I believe it was Matt Jackson who did the victory lap in the ring. And here we are 24 hours later. They are getting cheered. There were boos, there were cheers. There was a little bit of CM Punk chants, and then that got drowned out with boos that someone had said. And then there was the Elite cheers and stuff like that. It was just the craziest thing that was happening. And I'm sure CM Punk was sitting there punching a wall because of that. Temple says, I still think Don has something up his sleeve when it comes to Kenny Omega. Kota Ibushi turns on Kenny and joins Takeshita and the Don Callis family. I like the way you think, Temple. I think that'll be crazy as all hell. And then, of course, you have them reunite because the Golden Lovers will always love each other. But yeah, oh my gosh. Kota and Takeshita as a tag team? I don't think we're ready for that. I don't think we are ready for that just yet. But man, it does feel like there's something more to the story because Kenny did mention he was going to go after Don Callis. And it does feel like there's something more in the tank for Don Callis, that he may have a one-up on Kenny Omega. But we'll see. But I wouldn't mind seeing that, though. so we had the 8-man tag match where the crowd was like, they was liking some Young Bucks. It was some crazy ass tag team sequences between both teams, between FTR and the Young Bucks, and even between even with the Bullet Club. Of course, what I kind of expected was Bullet Club Gold chemistry was a lot better than it was with FTR and the Young Bucks. They was trying to do tag team moves together. They was trying to do tag team moves together, but of course they didn't have the chemistry there. So there was a lot of mishaps, a lot of missed spots. Things weren't gelling too well between FTR and the Young Bucks. But in the end, the Bullet Club Gold won, which I am such a fan of. Because I think it was I forgot which Young Buck it was, but I think it may have been Dax Harwood, and one of the Young Bucks tried to do the Shatter Machine, but it didn't work. And yeah, the Bullet Club Gold got the pin and won, which I am not mad at all. And I hope that that the Bullet Club Gold continues to shine. Interested to see what's going to be the fallout between FTR and the Young Bucks. But I was not mad about that 8-man tag. But there was, like I said, the Elite chants, there was booing, there was CM Punk chants, there was Young Bucks chants, there was AEW chants. The crowd was just all over the place. Like, y'all need to pick a fucking side, but it sounds like y'all picked the Young Bucks side, which I'm just still very confused about. I thought they would got booed out the building. I thought they would got booed worse than Dominic Mysterio trying to cut a promo. This is crazy. Detroit may be winning this game against Kansas City, which is the weirdest thing. I mean, it may not be that weird, but it's just the craziest thing, though. And then we come to the main event, as Mark Henry would say, and that was the for the AEW International Championship. We had Jon Moxley going against Orange Cassidy. This was, first of all, the craziest thing is that this match happened and Jon Moxley didn't bleed. Bizarro world we have going on here. We done reached an alternate timeline at this point that Jon Moxley did not bleed in this match, but yet Orange Cassidy won. A lot of fucking crazy spots in this match. I loved the way this match went, with Orange Cassidy getting more and more intense as time goes on. Of course, he did the kicks where it was like, the gentle taps and the crowd goes crazy. And as he kept kicking Jon Moxley, they started getting more and more intense. I loved that spot. And of course, there was a spot where he tried to put his hands in his pockets. And Jon Moxley was pretty much just whooping ass. But this was such a match between these two. This match lasted for almost 20 minutes. And I had Orange Cassidy to win, but I did mention that, it could go to Jon Moxley because he can take the title to other promotions and defend it internationally. So I figured it may have been a choice for Jon Moxley to win, but I figured that Orange Cassidy will retain because he has such a good thing going. But, still, I'm very happy for Orange Cassidy. He did an amazing job as the international champion. I'm very happy for what he has done to the title. He made the title feel very important. And I'm sure with Jon Moxley, he's going to make the title feel much more important. I love the promo that Jon Moxley gave to pretty much put over Orange Cassidy, because a lot of people were anti-Orange Cassidy, especially when AEW first started. But Orange Cassidy definitely has showed people that he is serious and he can fucking go. Temple says Bobby Roode just got the all clear, reported by Sports Kita. Fuck yes. as I would love to see. I love the Glorious entrance to come back. I know that, you know, he was part of the Dirty Dogs and stuff like that, but I would love to see the Glorious entrance. I love the Glorious entrance, especially when they were in NXT. Just chef's kiss. So I wonder what they're going to have him do. He could go against LA Knight. He could, well, you know, if you're trying to bring back the Glorious thing, it may not work. But I wouldn't mind LA Knight though. But yeah, with this international match, this was so crazy. It was bloody. It was all over the fucking place. Just the craziest shit. But I'm just so happy that Orange Cassidy got his flowers, got his time to shine. He got a lot of love from the crowd, especially afterwards. He got the thank you Orange chants afterwards. And hopefully he take much needed time off because he was such a workhorse, which he said he will continue because his name is Orange Cassidy and he does not have a catchphrase, which is a t-shirt that I'm sure they're going to be selling on the AEW shop. But yeah, it was such a good match between those two. But in the end, like I said, Jon Moxley wins the title. Hopefully he takes the title and defends it internationally, go to New Japan, GCW, wherever. Just go to all the different promotions and like give it time to shine. Let Orange Cassidy. I believe he's gonna go back after the title. I'm not 100% sure. I forgot the part of what he said on Dynamite. But I'm a big fan of that match. First of all, Jon Moxley, ladies and gentlemen, the first WWE person, well, besides Jericho, to like really jump ship from WWE to AEW. And he has been such a great signing. He has been amazing. And come to, you know, for him to come from WWE as far as, you know, the potted plant, the gas mask, the needle in the ass shit, and all the other stuff. And now this motherfucker, while yes, he does love to bleed and he loves to cause his wife panic with the fucking crazy ass Terry Funk shit that he got going on, he still holds it down and puts on great matches for AEW. And so yeah, I'm very happy for him. And I can't wait to see his title reign as far as the international champion. But overall, All Out was a very good show. Yes, it was booked felt like it was an afterthought, but overall, what we got instead was very good. It's just slightly frustrating that we get these good pay-per-views, but there's not a lot of built to it. Tim said, hell of a show. Yes. BCC dominated. They did an amazing job. You know, Blackpool Combat Club, I'm a big fan of Blackpool Combat Club, especially Bryan Danielson. And he put over Jon Moxley as well in the media scrum. Pretty much was like, I thought I was the best wrestler in the world until I saw Jon Moxley. So just shout out to all members of the Blackpool Combat Club. Hopefully one day Wheeler Yuta will not be the designated person to get his ass beat in these trios and tag team matches and everything. So yeah, but overall, AEW All Out was a very, very good show. But that is it for the Wrestlebread podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching, especially a lot of the people who came into the chat for the first time. Hope to see you back next week. But you can follow me at JDC137. You can also follow the podcast at Wrestlebread as well. Faction Cast said all members of the Shield are holding belts. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I'm proud of all of them all. I was a big fan of the Shield, of course. But like I said, follow me at JDC137. You can follow the podcast at Wrestlebread as well. Click the links in the bios for all the socials. I am always live, LIVE live, yeah, every Thursday at 9 p.m. EST. Next week, I'll be doing some more talk about what happened with the fallouts with these shows, as we saw. And as we continue on to Wrestle Dream for AEW. Speaking of Dream Match Championship Wrestling, love the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for the love as well. Tim King, great episode. Jaydee, thank you so much. And thank you to everyone watching, whether this is your first time here or, you continue watching as well. Be sure to follow me, like I said. In November, I'll start putting out either videos or shorts or maybe a live stream or something like that if enough people have questions. I am born and raised in Philly, not West Philly like Will Smith, but I am born and raised in Philly. I have been to all parts of Philadelphia, and I know we got WrestleMania 40 coming. I'm sure a lot of people are coming from overseas or from different cities, whether you've been to Philly before or if this is your first time coming, just to let y'all know, where to stay, what to do, where to go, places to eat. Like I always say, don't go to Geno's and Pat's if you want an authentic cheesesteak, and it's called cheesesteak. Don't come to Philly and try to order a Philly cheesesteak. I do know there's a cheesesteak place they put on their menu, Philly cheesesteak, because they get a lot of out-of-towners who ask for a Philly cheesesteak. Don't call it a Philly cheesesteak. You're in Philly. We call it cheesesteaks. And you probably hear, if you know people from Philly who no longer lives in Philly, anytime we're outside Philly and we see something that says Philly cheesesteaks, bit of triggering because it's not an authentic cheesesteak. Faction Cast says, enjoy watching every week. Thank you so much, Faction Cast. Temple says, people will ask why was Kota Ibushi in Blood and Guts with Kenny. Dom loves to play mind games. Listen, the storytelling you can have as far as the return of Kota and then the turn of Kota on Kenny, because Kota could sit there and say, I was at my low point and you did not call me because you were too busy running around with the Young Bucks and sitting there fucking with CM Punk. You can definitely do that. But Tim, well, thank you so much for your interaction, everything like that. And thank you everyone for tuning in to this episode. Like I said, I will be, starting November doing, tips and stuff like that of where to stay. The biggest thing I want to cover is where to stay, because my biggest concern is people booking Airbnb, and you're going to see cheap prices, and you're going to see some cheap prices for some Airbnb. I know it. And you're not going to know, like, you're going to see it's going to be pretty on the inside and everything like that, because there's a lot of homes and apartments that have been fixed up in Philly. They look so beautiful on the inside, but they're in the worst fucking neighborhoods. And I don't want you guys to be like fucking, not really scammed because it's kind of legal, but I don't want you guys to be scammed into paying a low price for a nice looking place in a shitty location where I will not recommend you to be in, especially with WrestleMania getting out at 11, 12 o'clock at night. You do not want to be in these areas at night. I'm born and raised in Philly, and there are certain areas of Philly I do not go to at night. So I don't want you guys having to deal with that craziness or anything like that. Philly is an amazing place to be in. Listen, we are some nice people. We may be nice. I mean, there are some Philly people who are nice assholes. Like, if you be a little bit weird, we'll be a little asshole to you. But we are pretty friendly. We still hold on. There's still remnants of City of Brotherly Love and Sisterly Affection. They're still there. However, there is a way for you not to have a good experience in Philly, and I don't want you to have that, because you got two different experiences in Philly depending on how things are handled. So I want you guys to have a great experience in Philly. It's a lot of great things about Philly to enjoy. Of course, the biggest thing is the fucking food. For all my history buffs, there's a lot of history going on here. There's going to be a lot of wrestling that's going on here. And so I just want to make sure, people are cool. Because, when I went to New Orleans, I wish I had someone that would tell, like, hey, these are places for you to go. This is what you can do. where to stay, yada, yada, yada. So I want to kind of do that for people as far as if you're coming to Mania Philly, that you know where to stay, where to go, things like that. For you to have someone to ask questions to, and I will give it to y'all straight. Now there are like I'm not too familiar with like South Philly and stuff. I know of South Philly. South Philly, they don't play. You can't go to South Philly and sit there and throw a whole fucking ass party. I can tell you that right now. But I can tell you guys, you know, where to stay if you have any questions or concerns or something like that, especially if this is your first time coming to Philly. You know, I definitely want to be able to be that person to answer that question for you. But thank you guys so much. Like I said, be sure to tune in every Thursday at 9 p.m. EST. Come right back here. Be sure to check us out Saturday at 8:30 p.m. EST, where we will be revealing the brand new name of the network. It's a new look, new name, but the same great content as well. And then next week, you'll see a bit of rebranding with the Wrestlebread Podcast, but still same podcast, still same great host, the first effing lady, and still an amazing time that y'all can have here. But thank you guys so much. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And until next time, guys, peace.